November 14th, 1942, 1:42 Aranging Emer, Iron-Bottom Sound, off the coast of Guadalcanal. The Pacific night is thick, humid, starless, and black as oil. Somewhere in that darkness, engines rumble low across the water. A lookout aboard the American cruiser USS Washington, BB-56, grips his binoculars, but the lenses show nothing. Just endless black sea. No moon, no silhouettes, no warning. Yet deep inside the battleship's steel hull, someone already knows the enemy is there. Below deck, in a cramped combat information center glowing with pale green light, a young radar operator leans toward his screen. A faint pulse appears. Then another, tiny white echoes crawling across the circular display. Contact, bearing 310, range 18,000 yards. His voice is calm, but around him, officers stiffen, because those tiny signals represent ships, enemy ships, Japanese ships. Up on the bridge, Rear Admiral Willis A. Lee listens as the message comes through the headset. He cannot see the enemy, but radar can. And tonight, that invisible advantage will decide the fate of fleets. Across the dark water, the powerful Japanese battleship Kirishima glides forward like a predator. Her crew peers through night scopes and binoculars. For decades, the Imperial Japanese Navy had trained for battles like this. Night combat, close range, surprise attacks. Japanese sailors were famous for it. They practiced relentlessly torpedo strikes, coordinated destroyer assaults. January 1941. A cold research laboratory outside Cambridge. Inside a dimly lit room, engineers lean over glowing instruments. Oscilloscopes flicker. Vacuum tubes hum softly. Wires snake across wooden tables like tangled vines. At the center of the chaos stands a strange device, an experimental transmitter sending bursts of invisible energy into the air. A young technician adjusts a dial. Across the room, a screen flickers. Then, a spike appears. The room erupts with excitement. They have detected an aircraft miles away without seeing it. This technology is called radio detection and ranging. Radar. What began as an experimental curiosity in the 1930s is quickly becoming the most secretive weapon of modern warfare. In Britain, scientists at the University of Cambridge and the Royal Air Force had already begun deploying radar towers along the prize English coast. Those towers would soon prove decisive during the Battle of Britain, allowing defenders to see incoming German aircraft long before they appeared in the sky. But radar's true potential was only beginning to be understood, because radar could do something no human eye could. It could see in total darkness. And across the ocean, American scientists were paying very close attention. At the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a secret research group forms under heavy military funding. The Radiation Laboratory. Its mission? Turn radar into a battlefield weapon. Physicists, mathematicians. October 11th, 1942, 11:30 p.m. Waters north of Guadalcanal, near Cape Esperance. The sea is black and silent. Clouds choke the sky, hiding the moon. The only light comes from faint stars and the dim glow of cigarette embers on darkened bridges. Japanese destroyers slice through the water in perfect formation. They are escorting a force of cruisers, led by Rear Admiral Aritomo Gotō. Their mission is simple: bombard American airfields on Guadalcanal and cripple the Allied foothold on the island. The Japanese sailors are confident. Why wouldn't they be? For months, they have dominated the night waters of the Solomon Islands. American ships have been ambushed again and again under cover of darkness. The Japanese call these nighttime reinforcement runs the Tokyo Express. Fast destroyers rushing down the slot under the black sky. Strike fast, disappear before sunrise. But tonight, something is different. Several miles away, an American cruiser force moves quietly through the darkness. Leading them is Rear Admiral Norman Scott aboard the cruiser USS San Francisco, CA-38. Scott's formation includes several cruisers and destroyers, each equipped with radar. Down below the bridge, radar operators stare at their glowing screens, sweat beads on their foreheads. The Pacific night presses in around them. Then, a blip appears. One contact, then another, then 5 more. The operator's voice tightens. Multiple ships, bearing 315. November 15th, 1942, 12:03 a.m. Ironbottom. Sound. The water here hides a graveyard. Cruisers, destroyers, hundreds of sailors, dozens of ships from both sides already lie shattered on the seabed below. That is why American sailors have given this stretch of ocean its grim nickname, Iron Bottom's Sound. Tonight, more steel is about to sink. The Japanese have launched another desperate attempt to crush the American foothold on Guadalcanal. A powerful bombardment group approaches under darkness. At its center sails the fast battleship, Japanese battleship, Kirishima. Her massive guns are intended to flatten the American airfield by sunrise. If the bombardment succeeds, American aircraft will be destroyed on the ground. Reinforcements will stop, and the battle for Guadalcanal may turn back in Japan's favor. But waiting in the darkness is a different kind of weapon. A radar-guided battleship. The American task force moves cautiously through the black water. At the center of the formation looms the massive silhouette of USS Washington, 2BB-56. Inside the ship's Combat Information Center, radar operators monitor the screen. Soft green light fills the cramped room. A technician adjusts the gain knob. Suddenly, the screen blooms with echoes. Multiple contacts. Ships. Range. Over 20,000 yards. The Japanese force. The Americans have found them first. Again, word travels instantly up the chain of command to Rear Admiral Willis A. Lee. Lee is a quiet officer with a reputation for cold. June 1943. Midnight, somewhere over the dark waters of the Solomon Islands. The cockpit of an American fighter is almost completely black. Only the faint glow of instruments illuminates the pilot's gloves. Outside the canopy, nothing exists. No horizon, no stars, no enemy, just endless darkness. Yet the pilot knows he is not alone, because somewhere ahead of him, flying through the same black sky, is a Japanese bomber formation. And for the first time in aviation history, an American fighter can hunt them without ever seeing them. Inside the belly of the aircraft sits a strange device, a small radar set, primitive by modern standards, but revolutionary. In 1943, this aircraft is a night fighter version of the P-61 Black Widow, one of the first planes designed specifically to use radar to hunt enemy aircraft in darkness. Behind the pilot sits a radar operator. He stares at a small glowing screen, a circular display. Blips appear as faint flashes of light. He adjusts the range. Suddenly, there, a contact. Target, 11 o'clock. Range 2 miles. The pilot cannot see anything ahead, but he trusts the voice behind him. Closing. The radar blip grows stronger. The operator gives calm instructions. Turn left. Steady. Hold altitude. The fighter slides silently through the darkness. No searchlights, no flares, no visual contact. Just invisible radar waves bouncing off metal wings miles ahead. Finally, the operator whispers, 500 yards.